When I started making this video, I had a completely different goal in mind, to test how good delves were for leveling your character in the War Within. I suppose in the end this is what this video is about, but I stumbled upon something that changed how I viewed this whole experiment. What if I told you I found a way to get 4 to 5 levels in just 2 hours in the War Within? That's right, a certain aspect of delves lets you skyrocket your XP gains at your own discretion. No need to queue for dungeons, rely on other players, or even use a super degenerate way to farm XP. All you have to do is simply play the game. It doesn't even require good gear to do. Yes, gear will make it faster, but there's no barrier to entry here. For those of you who are new to the game or haven't really interacted with delves, they are mini dungeons where you and Bran Bronzebeard travel underground to complete unique objectives. You can go in solo or with friends. They don't have any timers or queues, so you can just walk right in and do them at your own pace. The method I'm going to be sharing can be completed by anyone. Bringing your friends is only a bonus so that you can do it all at the same time and it'll go a little bit quicker, because it has to do with the delve quests. Since I did not have these in my original plan, to avoid having my thoughts be all over the place, I'm going to split this video into sections, as I tend to do with all my videos it seems. I'll start with explaining how the delves work, then I'll talk about ways you can improve upon what I did, and finally I'll talk about the rewards of doing delves while leveling, because I got a decent amount of gold and pretty good gear from my journey. When you enter a delve for the first time on a character, there will be a little piece of parchment with a quest. Now the thing that makes this method take 2 hours, at least it did for me, was actually doing the delves. So bringing other players, or if you are really good at doing them, will make this leveling method faster. To a degree, because these are pretty easy while solo. Now a little disclaimer, when I say you will get 5 levels, I do only mean 5 levels. At least, if you want the speed. I did level a character through nothing but delves, I have the numbers, but the difference between doing the quests and not doing the quests is astronomical. Each delve gives about 40,000 to 50,000 XP per completion if you are unrested. Since the majority of the XP you gain is from the mobs inside, that will basically double if you have a bunch of rested XP. The quests within these delves fetch about 80,000 XP. Yeah, you can see why it gets pretty crazy. The quests themselves are double what you get for just the delve. I didn't originally plan to use these quests, in fact I forgot they even existed until I started recording for this video, so I didn't do my world tour of the delves until I was already level 75. Getting to level 75 took me 4 hours and 11 minutes, which isn't too terrible, it certainly is not ideal however, but at level 75 I switched up my tactics. There are 12 delves in the War Within, each one has its own quest, 3 in Khal-Zelgar, 2 in the Ringing Deeps, 4 in Hollowfall, and there are 3 in Azj-Kahet. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to do each of these delves, at least the way I was doing them. I was clearing every mob and pack along the way. I flew around to each one and completed them one by one without turning in the quests. This is very important, so I'm mentioning this now. The amount of XP you get from the delves themselves doesn't really increase as you level up, but every level you do get does increase the XP you get from their quests, even if you are a lower level when you finish them. If you turn all of them in, say at level 77, you will get the level 77 quest XP amount even if you did all of the quests at level 76. I'll put up a little montage of me turning them in so you can see just how insane this is. The level 77 stuff was just an example. There's so much XP from these that you'll get multiple levels in just a few minutes. In fact, here's how many levels I got from just the turn-ins, compared to how long it took me to turn them in. Overall, I went from level 75 to level 79, 4 late game levels from just 10 delves. That's right, 10. I had already done 2 of the quests before I had my Eureka moment, so in actuality I got 5 levels from doing all 12 delves plus their quests, but could it have been done better? Yeah, I think so, and here are some of my ideas for how to do it. In this section, I'm going to go over some tips on how you can cut down on that 2 hours I mentioned, because I really didn't have a plan when I did this, nor did I really do it at an optimal time. Tip number 1. Just to reiterate, save the quests to turn in all at once. You saw how many levels I got from them alone. In fact, if you really want to make this efficient, do the 12 delves, use the gear you get from them to do dungeons until like level 76 or 77, then cruise all the way to level 80 by turning in these quests. Like I said, they increase in value the longer you hold on to them. It's definitely a more sweaty way to do it, but it is a more valid way of squeezing every drop from these quests that you can. Number 2. Plan your route. This isn't as intricate as it sounds. Since they are all grouped into zones, the correct path is pretty straightforward. I kinda hopped around and went by feel, but from what I learned, and with a bit of thinking, here's the path I would take if I did it a second time. It's pretty simple. You're gonna want to do the Isle of Dorn, into the Ringing Deeps, which leads into Hollowfall, and finally you finish with Ashgahet. It's as pretty simple as just going down the map in an order that makes sense. Number 3. If you're looking for extra gold, take mining and herbalism on your character. If you only want to choose one of these, I would make it mining. Each delve has nodes that spawn in it. Bran will harvest them if you are close enough, so it's not essential to take these, but he doesn't consume the node. So if you do have the gathering professions, you'll basically double the gold you get from selling the actual ore. Number 4. Ignore the power-ups and rares. Kind of. Each delve gives various power-ups that can help you along your journey. They come in the form of crates, chests, puzzles, or rare mobs. If it is as easy as opening it, go ahead. But if it's a puzzle or rare mob, unless you find it at the beginning, you can just ignore it. The amount of power it gives you can vary from moderate to useless in terms of speeding up your journey. Number 5. Finally, when you begin a delve, it will ask you what difficulty you want to do it on. While you're leveling, you are limited to challenge ratings 1, 2, and 3. As far as I can tell, you get the same amount of rewards from doing a level 1 as a level 3. The level 3 will just be a bit harder, so if you want the easier and or faster route, just do the level 1s. Speaking of rewards, this is the part of the video that will overlap the most with my original plan. It'll give you a decent idea of what to expect delves to give you for your time. Out of the gates, I would call these rewards better than what you get from dungeons. Every single delve you complete is guaranteed to give you a piece of gear. Said reward scales up depending on what level you are when you get it. I started my delve journey at item level 333. After doing 41 delves, I ended up at item level 538, which is decently close to already being able to do heroics. I would say that if you only do 12 delves like I mentioned in this strat, you can expect to get 12 upgrades. There were very few times where I got a piece that I had just gotten in a previous delve. I could count the number of times on my hand, it wasn't that much. Combine that with spending the gold you get on buying or crafting, you'll be at heroic level. I'm pretty confident of it if you do only delves. But what about that gold? Well, I made 30,000 throughout my journey, the majority of which came from selling the multitude of crafting reagents that I received. This is without taking mining or herbalism, by the way. I just let Bran do it. But in addition to what he gathered, the ending chests often give a big reagent worth thousands. And the mobs drop the cheaper ones at a decent rate. You even have a chance at some good Zekvir loot. He spawned about twice in my journey. I expected him to be a bit harder, but if he spawns without too many mobs around you, you can take him down pretty easily. Now that I think about it, this is all starting to sound very familiar. And I'm not sure how I didn't notice this before, but delves are mini, soloable dungeons with unique objectives that have a rotating empowerment cycle that leads to greater rewards, and a mini-boss can spawn in them to try to take you down. Delves are just Diablo sellers. I even made a video leveling a character through an obscene amount of them. I suppose I should tell you about the rest of the journey. As I said, in total I did 41 delves to get from level 70 to level 80. It took me about 8 hours and 6 minutes to do. Certainly not terrible, but there are better options. The last level alone took me 2 hours and about 10 delves. So if you're gonna spam delves, do it early. The main issue is the XP doesn't scale very well unless you're doing the quests. And when most other XP sources do scale with your level, like I said, better to just do this early. But dang, those quests are super worth it, so at least do those. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate a like on it. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. My name has been Kale, and have a wonderful journey.